Good morning, all of you. Welcome to iWorkstation online BIM series. Okay, today's topic will be about BIM tech, which will be related to BIM software tools, which is used in the construction industry. Okay, so before proceeding today's session, I would like to just ask from some of you, like, do you know which BIM tools people are using currently in the job market? Like, there are so many software tools available in the market, maybe Revit, AutoCAD, Navisworks, right? So which tools you think are the most or widely used in the industry? Can you comment down in the chat box? Which tools people are using? Anyone? Revit, yes, many people are using Revit. Any other BIM tools? Yeah, everyone have a name like Revit. Are there no other tools in the market? Dynamo, okay, Power BI, Navisworks, nice. Revit, Tekla, okay. Recap Pro, Tekla. Kobe, okay, that's nice. SketchUp, okay, that's good. I can see some of the reviews from some of the answers from you. Like, there are so many tools which is in the market. Can anyone just name how many software tools are there in the market? Maybe you can name like 10 software tools available in the market, or 5 software tools, or 50, or 100, or more than 200. Can anyone have any estimate how many software tools are available in the market right now? Anyone? 10 to 15, I think. Okay, yeah, mostly 10 to 15, even I think, and most of the 90% people would say like 10 to 15 software tools are available in the market. That's probably 90% of the answer. Only 10 to 15. Okay, so let me tell you, first of all, what we see in the job, what we see in the industry right now is some of the software tools which is available, like Revit, Navisworks, Tekla. Might be you know some of these names. Okay, but because of that, 90% of the companies are using these tools, but that doesn't mean only these tools are available in the market. There are so many other tools as well which no one even talks about it. Very few people, if they research about it, they will get to know. Okay, let's say Recap. Okay. Recap Pro is one of the tool many people are using, but how many people have heard about Rhinoceros or Rhino? Not rhinoceros, Rhino, or Grasshopper. Okay, these are not animal name or insect names, these are software tools, right? Rhino or Grasshopper. Does anyone of you heard about Dynamo? Not the Dynamo magician, it's the Dynamo which will be used for automation, visual programming. Yes, some of you have heard about Dynamo as well, right? So there are so many tools which are coming up in the market, depends on the usage of the people, what they want to take out from it. Okay, so currently there are few software tools which everyone is using. Top 10, if you can say, the software tools which is used in the market right now. So today in the session we are going to see only the top BIM tools which are used in the market, because there may be 100 plus software tools which are available in the market which have different uses. You know, there is Revisto, you have Enscape, you have iCAD VR, if I tell you the name. Okay, you have Vasas AI, you have Lumion also some people use for visualization. You have so many, plenty of tools. Okay, depends on the deliverable, what you want to achieve from your project, you will choose the software tool. So does it means that in the industry, if someone is trying to enter in BIM, okay, he or she should know all the software tools which is there in the market? Is it necessary that you should know everything? Example, if you are from civil engineering background, what are the basic software tools a civil engineer should know or must know? We heard from teachers, we heard from social media or YouTube, right? We see so many videos over there which says civil engineer should know AutoCAD, should know Revit, should know eTabs, should know StatPro, should know SAP 2000. There are so many software tools which is quite confusing for someone to even learn it, So first of all, in order to shortlist, in order to comprehend what I'm trying to say is, you need to define which software tools you're gonna use in the future. Okay, maybe all of you have heard this line, jack of all trades is a master of none, right? That is very true when you come to the BIM. There are so many tools, but if you are jack of all trades, you are master of none, then it doesn't make sense. Maybe you know so many software tools, but you don't even know how to make a single BIM project, or a small building project. Then what is the use of knowing so many software tools? Isn't it? Does it make sense? So what I am trying to show you today is, we are going to use a different set of tools, but to make deliverables achieved, okay, to make the outcomes achieved. So what I am trying to say here is, I will show you directly. I hope my screen is shared and visible. My voice is loud and clear to all of you. You can put a thumbs up if my voice is loud and clear, and my screen is also visible. Okay, that's great. So we will move ahead. As every one of you mentioned, the basic software tool in the industry right now, I'll minimize this, is Revit, right? This is Revit. I mean, all of you would agree that 90% of the companies in India or even abroad, they are using Revit as a software tool, as a BIM software tool. So I'm going to show you some of the project and some of the deliverables from this software tool, which will help you understand what exactly are the skills or the deliverables of a BIM expert or a BIM professional in the market. What industry is exactly looking for, right? Maybe you can see a simple building, a G plus how many levels? G plus 5-6 floors building, right? It looks like a very simple building, but it has a lot of detail inside it. Okay, let's say if I show you over here, you can see that there is a footing over here. Okay, in this particular building, you can see there is a particular footing. At this side, there you can see a footing as well as some reinforcement, right? It gives you such a clarity that what type of reinforcement is there in this particular footing, what type of footing it is. It's isolated footing, okay, it is with the PCC, it is with some rebar as well. I'll hide this part so that you can see it more clearly. Okay, you can see the rebar over here. If I select it, you can see that this is a 12 mm bar, okay, but with a specific color it is mentioned over here. Then this is again a rebar, it's a 16 mm bar. What are these? Okay, I will make this into selection box so that you can see more clearly. Yeah, have a look. These are all stirrups, 8 mm bar, or these are 16 mm bar, but with different color coding. Okay, so this is how you have to define if you make any model, if you create any BIM model or a BIM project. You need to make everything in such a detailed way that the employer should know that your skill set is really applicable in the industry, right? It's not just a 3D model, it's a model with all the details mentioned over here. So let's look at this 12 mm rebar. Maybe you can even put on the details over here, like it's a steel bar or steel bar footing base. Okay, so there are so many details which you can mention about any one single particular object. Now let's try to look at more details in this particular project. I will come out of this section box. Okay, you can see over here there is a boundary wall, some railings over here. Okay, then you can oversee that there is a beam over here with the proper detailing, proper modeling of the reinforcement, right? You can see the vertical and the horizontal reinforcements over here. You can see the bent up bars very clearly, very precisely. If I want to select any of the bar, I can select it. It will show that it's a 8 mm bar. I'll select this. It is showing it's a 20 mm bent up bar, right? If I click on this particular element, I can even see the size of this rebar. Okay. Then let's say over here, I can see that there are some ducts as well. Okay. Air conditioner, vertical. Okay, This is also a duct. It's an elbow. This is a rectangular duct. So these are the things which you might need to show in your project, okay. Like the reinforcements, like elements properly modeled. If I'm gonna see only the structural part of it, let's switch off each and every element over here and I'll show you only the structural part of it. Foundation, a column, let's say the framing also I want to see, and the rebar as well. And I'll switch it on. Now you can see only the structural part of the building, but you can see the reinforcement rebar as well. You can see the staircase, the reinforcement in this particular staircase. Let's make it into section box. You see how clearly the things have been defined over here. So in order to make a really BIM project where you are going to showcase all the details, okay, these details are not directly embedded in the project. These details are readable from a CAD drawing. So once you have a CAD drawing, the student who have made this particular project has used a CAD drawing to make the staircase, the reinforcements. After achieving this particular project, what he has done is he has also carried out some sheet creations. Okay, so let's have a look over here. Look at the different type of sheets he has created. The structural model over here, the footing, okay, the beams. Can you switch off your video at the moment if I'm hearing some noise? Vishnu? Okay. Please keep your audio off so that I can see it clearly. Okay. Once we finish the session, we'll have a Q&A session to interact, and I will love to answer your questions regarding the session today. Okay. Then there is an HVAC sheet also, where he has shown that how the HVAC is being distributed inside the building. Okay. He might not have shown the entire thing, but he has shown enough for a person to understand, okay, this is how the HVAC looks like, this is the design, this is the elbow, this is a rectangular duct, there is a piping over here. Okay, he knows how to model a pipe, he knows how to give the connections, the joints, okay, WC, U-trap. Then over here he has also included some sections. Then have a look at the architectural plan. Okay, now this is an architectural plan where he have shown the elevation, 3D view, section, the plan views, each and every detail, right? So this is an example of a simple 3D model which you can make using a software called Revit, right? Let's look at some more detail what it can enhance. Okay, let's look at this particular project. In this project you can see that it's not just a building over here, he has also showcased the landscape around it. So there would be a, let's say a particular topography of this area, then there would be a road which is connecting, okay, there are street lights, okay, there are some waterfall, fountain over here in front, and there is a ramp, a staircase, some plants. If you need to mention some human, you can mention that too. Okay, I'll make this particular building into a section box and I'll help you show it more precisely. Let's have a look over here. The section box. Okay. You can see in this building that there is a facade over here, some design which is on the front side on the elevation. There is a curtain wall with proper mullions and the grids. Now let's look at the rooms which is there inside this particular building. What details are being shown. Okay, I'll crop it down a little bit more. Okay, good. So let's have a look at this particular room. He has properly mentioned what details are there, that it might be an office room. He has used a family a table or a chair, some things over here which can be arranged on a table, a simple office chair he has used, okay, a sofa, table for the flower pot or the vase. Then let's look at the other details. This is again maybe a training room or office room where employees would be working or the students would be learning something. Okay, he has made some tables over here. If you cut this particular section box from the bottom, let's cut it from the bottom and look at the top. What's there in the top? Okay, let's look at from this side. Some of the places have a plain ceiling, some doesn't have a ceiling. Okay. Let's look at the sheets. You can see the detailing over here, the way he has modeled in this Revit software. It's not just a 3D model, but he has shown what details are there. Let's say this reinforcement, what is the number of reinforcement, what is the size of this rebar, okay. U-shape rebar, 1 bar at each face of pedestal, ASC 110 mm. So these are all the information which is contained in this particular drawing. This is a sheet over here with the name of the student. Let's look at the other sheet. This sheet comprises of a slab, which is a two-way slab, right? Which you can see how the rebar has been distributed along the area, extra top, extra bottom. S1, TB1, it also gives the information about the different beams, the different columns which is there, and shown at from and tried to show from each and every sides of it the details of all the reinforcement which needed to be done in this particular slab. So it gives a strong impression that the student or whoever the person who have modeled this particular building is highly skilled in understanding how to give the information, what information needed to be given. Okay. So let's look at the sheet 3, the kind of information which is shown over here. A simple staircase 3D section. Then you can see the steel quantities as well. What is the steel quantity in each and every floor regarding the stair or the floor or the structural foundation or the structural column or the structural framing in kg. Okay, so you need to know exactly how much kg of steel which will be used in the staircase. How many kg, like 173.26 kg of staircase with a 12 mm diameter. With a 10 mm diameter, you might need this much amount of steel. So it gives a clear idea how much steel is required, how much quantity is required. So when I talk about the quantity, it's not just about the steel, or I'm trying to show you. There are other quantities as well which you can see in this particular project. Let's say the PCC, material takeoff. So what is the PCC material? Plain cement concrete. How much material will be required in the entire project over here? This is the final amount of cost of concrete and even the cubic meter of concrete. Okay. Let's talk about the slab. So each and every floor have different slab. Maybe the first floor have a different 150 mm or 125 mm or different sizes of slabs which you can see over here, ranging from 150. Okay. And then plinth level you have a different slab. And what is the volume of it, and subsequently you can calculate the cost of it. When you talk about the staircase, same, the actual number of riser, tread depth, these things are obviously will be there, but what the end you have to calculate is the volume of the staircase. If you talk about the wall, over here you can see the wall material takeoff at each and every floor, plinth level to first floor to second to slab terrace, right, to the third floor level. The volume of the brick excluding the coping. Obviously when there is a wall there will be a coping as well. In such a detailed way the person have tried to calculate the exact quantity which needed to be used on the site. Okay, and even the cost of bricks have been calculated over here. For this obviously you will be using certain formulas or filters in order to have a result like this or a deliverable like this. Okay, once you have this type of deliverable, then you're gonna use this deliverable to showcase to your client or to your senior in a much structured way using an Excel, or you can use Power BI or other type of visualization tools where you can showcase your data, right? So have a look over here, coping volume. This could be the formula. So in order to execute these kind of details, to get these kind of quality deliverables, you need to understand how to set up the details, how to set up the formulas in each and every deliverable, right? This is for brick volume excluding coping, number of coping, and the cost of brick. So obviously he has multiplied the number of bricks with 7. So that 7 is Indian rupees. Okay. So cost of brick multiplied by one cost of brick, he has considered as 7 Indian rupees. Maybe in your project you might have 12 Indian rupees or 4 Indian rupees or 5 Indian rupees, depending where you are working on, which type of project, which type of brick you are using. Okay. So these kind of details needed to be shown in your project. Let's have a look at other set of model. This looks like a very simple building. It's G+3, ground floor plus 3 floor, but you have to model a particular element over here. This element is not a simple element, it's a pile. Okay, so many of the people, they know how to model a simple rectangular footing or isolated footing, but you also need to know how to model a pile footing. Okay, so sometimes there may be a project where you have to model a pile footing, so you cannot say to the employers, I don't know what is pile footing, or I have never modeled a pile footing. You should know from where you can get the family of this pile foundation or a pile footing. Okay, or even if you don't know how to get a family of this particular project, you should know how to make it. That's the basic, that's the least you can do. Like, so you should know the basic commands of making a simple extrusion or a blend or a reveal. Okay, so these kind of tools will really help you stand out in the project. So this particular G+3 building looks like a very simple, but if you look at it more closely, okay, I'll help you understand it. What's the complexity in this particular building is by showing you the rebar first. Okay, so let's see the entire building. The rebar modeling has been done over here. Okay, you can see over here the entire building properly modeled. Use the data which was there on the side, and then try to make a structural reinforcement in the entire building, including the pile foundation, the footings and the beam, the slab, the staircase, each and everything over here. And ultimately you have calculated the rebar schedule. Okay, in the schedule you can see the total quantity of steel in per the kg over here. I'm going to show you some of the sheets as well over here, which is again a deliverable. Maybe in the last few sessions you might have seen what is a BIM portfolio, how to make a video resume, or I have shared with you how to create a templates using a Canva. But you cannot do those things unless and until you have a proper project with you, right? So in order to have a proper project, what you need to know is how to put in these details in your sheet, how to showcase these details properly, how to extract these as a deliverable. Okay, I'm going to show you the second floor, the first floor over here. Have a look at this detail of a staircase. So structured and so easy to understand what details are there about the rebar. Okay. The objective of showing the details or the deliverables is not just to showcase how the sheet looks like or how organized it is, but in order for the employer to understand that you focus on small details. Okay, so these are small details which is very neat and tidy, and it helps the employer to qualify you as a skilled resource for his or her company. You know, if you can showcase these kind of details in your project portfolio, the chances of getting hired has tremendously increased. Okay, so that is another task, another way like how you apply for the company, how you could showcase your details. But for the first instance, you should know how to have these skills, right? How to showcase these kind of skill sets. Let's have a look at this foundation, pile foundation with proper reinforcement detail over here. Okay, So these are few of the Revit skills which each and every one of you must know in order to be a good BIM modeler first. Then later you can be a BIM project engineer or a BIM coordinator or a BIM lead or a BIM manager or a BIM director. That the level increases, the kind of responsibility also increases with that. Okay, so let's look at this particular project. So what you can see over here, it's a simple structure, looks like this, but what I'm trying to show you in this particular structure is something called as Dynamo. Okay, this Dynamo is particularly a software tool which is embedded inside Revit. Many of you might have used, some of you might not have even looked at it, that there is a tool called Dynamo. Before, in 2016 2014, this Dynamo was a standalone version. It was not a product of Autodesk. Later the Autodesk have acquired this software tool and people have started using Dynamo extensively right now in terms of modeling, in terms of creating automated design options for you, in terms of automating any deliverable which you can produce from a simple Revit model, right? So as I showed you these quantities over here, what if I tell you that Dynamo can automate this entire process for you directly? Even if you don't have a template, if you have a small script of Dynamo which is mentioned like how to take the proper filters, how to put the proper formulas inside it, and then you run the run the script, it will give you the exact quantities like this. But for this you might have to spend 30 minutes to 1 hour to 2 hours to get the right kind of deliverable, right? But if you use a Dynamo like this, it can help you even extract the sheets from your particular project. It can even help you do the tagging for your particular sheet. Okay, so you might be seeing that there are so many taggings or dimensioning or arranging the sheet. So a lot of these things can be automated using Dynamo. But how you can automate it? The first thing is you should know how to do it manually. Then the second step would be you should know how to do it using Dynamo or using automation scripts, right? So if you don't know how to do it manually, you won't be able to understand how it can be done using the automation tools. Okay, let's have a look at this particular script. Okay, I need to point it to Dynamo first. So this is the Dynamo file which needed to be open. It looks like a very simple building, it's a simple structure, but what I want to showcase is, have a look over here. This is a script over here. It has different radiuses at different angles each. Look at this particular shape. Look at the shape behind and look at the slider over here. Okay. So if I move the slider mid-low radius, it is also changing the shape in the Revit. At the same time, it is changing the shape inside the Dynamo. So this not only helps you to tweak the design options for you, but also gives an idea like which design option would be better for your company. Maybe the client doesn't like this particular design. Okay, you can choose a different design option. So in this case, in this example, I have just shown a small simple shape which has some curves around it, okay, which have some radius at different levels. Okay, but imagine if you can tweak this particular script with a proper building, what kind of details and what kind of information you can get from it. I'll change it to some normal size. Have a look like this. Okay, cool. So this is Dynamo, which most of the people in today's era are using, already practicing, already learning how they can implement it in their project workflows. Very soon you will be looking lot of vacancies in the LinkedIn and in Indeed or any of the job portals. They are hiring people who know BIM along with Dynamo scripts, okay, along with the Dynamo knowledge, because modeling something is pretty easy in the industry right now. Many people are getting skilled in this domain, so very few people are really know how to do this kind of automations in their particular project. Okay, so what I want you to focus is not just the modeling skills in Revit, but you should also start learning about Dynamo, how you can make the scripts, how you can tweak the changes, what are packages inside Dynamo, how you can effectively use a Dynamo player, how you can make your simple task in your Revit project automated, like taking out the quantities, or maybe creating a rebar or reinforcement inside the building on a footing or a beam or a column. So these kind of small things you need to take in care of. Now another software which I am going to show you is, which is quite popular in the industry, is Navisworks, right? So over here you can see this particular building. Okay, it's just an academic block. The same building. Okay, I will just unhide this. Yeah, it's a simple building over here. It's a Revit project which has been embedded inside Navisworks, and on the bottom side you can see over here the timeliner function is on. Okay, so what is this timeliner? Timeliner helps you to simulate this entire building with respect to time and with respect to cost. That is what we see in the industry, right? Like a 4D BIM or 5D BIM. That is nothing. Okay, 4D BIM or 5D BIM is nothing but the aspect of time and cost. So how do you define that time and cost aspect with respect to a BIM model? Okay, so imagine this particular building which is being modeled in Revit, and on the left side you can see all the activities in this particular building. Okay. So like execution of PCC, creating a footing, a column, a plinth column, first floor level column, slab or staircase, lot of activities you might have in your entire project. So you can just simulate this entire thing, okay, using a simulate option over here. So now in this session I am not going to show you like how you can actually make this kind of things, but I am going to show you the deliverable out of it, what exactly the people needed you to know. Okay, if you are using a Navisworks, you need to know how to make a simulation like this. You can see the particular building getting simulated with respect to time on the left side. Okay, I will take it back. On the left side you can see the time. If I go to the settings, I can even overlay some the activities which is there over here. Okay, let's put some currently active task. Okay, now you can see over here the activity name as well. What is happening at the moment is execution of PCC. How much percentage have been completed? 76% column. Okay, plinth beam and slab staircase construct. So these are the phases like construct, demolish or temporary, different phases. You can also include the cost factor inside it. Currently in this particular project there is not a cost factor which is included, but you can also include the cost factor if you overlay a particular cost command over here in this overlay text. Okay, so this helps you, even a project manager helps to understand what is the current status of a building, how much work has been done till now. So it helps you to identify the planned versus actual. What is the planned status of the building and what is the actual status of the building? Maybe the planned status is suppose this much, and what is the actual status is right this much. So it helps for a client or a owner or a project management firm to visually understand what is the status of the building at the moment, right? Many people instead of using this Navisworks as a tool, before many people have been using Primavera as a project management tool. Using a Primavera before, people were able to manage their project, manage the project time, the cost and the scope, right? Basically 3 ingredients which you need to manage being a project manager, right? So what is this over here? Now also there is the same traditional way of workflow. People are still in this particular software, but that doesn't mean that this software has become obsolete, right? So this software has a quite number of use in the BIM industry as well. So if you know Primavera, or maybe even if you don't know how to use Primavera, okay, imagine you don't know how to use a Primavera, but if you know how to open a Primavera file and how to extract this data or the information from Primavera to an Excel sheet or a Microsoft project, very simple, okay, and use this particular data in your Navisworks to create a 4D 5D simulation effectively. So that is what the skill set is required. You might not be needed to know the entire Primavera, right? But you should know how to use the data from the Primavera using a proper workflow. The same thing comprises with the AutoCAD. Many of the people in the industry, they don't know AutoCAD, and some of the training institutes also, I'll tell you a secret, they say to know Revit, to know BIM, you should learn AutoCAD first, you should take a AutoCAD course first. So that is all waste of the money and waste of the time as well, which is not at all required in the industry. You should know effectively how to open an AutoCAD file in AutoCAD. You should know how to edit some layers inside AutoCAD. You should know how to import and export AutoCAD file into Revit and other software tools. That's the basic things you should know, right? Apart from that, you should not focus on drafting or designing anything in AutoCAD, because that is a waste of time. If you are doing this, or if you are learning this kind of skills in your architectural firm or in your structural consultancy firm, that means you are just wasting your time and your effort, because many people out there, they are also already automating these kind of basic drafting and designing things using Revit or using other kind of software tools, right? So some of the tools which have not been obsolete at the moment, you should know how to utilize it, but not necessarily need to know each and every detail of it. Okay, so let's say I have given you an example of this 4D and 5D simulation in Navisworks. Another very important feature of Navisworks is doing a clash detection. Okay, so in this entire building you can detect the clashes. How many clashes are in this particular building? Let's say I'll detect a clash in the ground level. Okay, some clashes have already been detected over here. I can directly look at the results over here. You can clearly see that there are these clashes. Okay, what is this particular element? It's a basic wall, and it is having a clash with a rectangular beam. Obviously a wall cannot intersect a beam, right? So this is clearly looks like a clash. So in order to resolve these clashes, you need to have a basic design knowledge or a basic technical knowledge regarding your field and also the other field. Like if you are an architect, okay, let me say you, if you are an architect, you should also have a basic understanding of the structural engineering, of the structural domain. You should also have a basic understanding of a MEP, okay, that is mechanical, electrical, plumbing and firefighting. You should have a basic knowledge and understanding of what elements are there in the building at least. Okay, not in a very detailed manner, but at least in a building, from where the pipelines go inside the building, from where the electrical switches or the conduits go, okay, from where the connections of a fan or a light or any bulb or any appliances are there, okay, and how the electrical switches or the wiring, I mean, they have a kind of what you can say, the layout of it. Okay, so these basic things you should know if you are coming into the domain. Okay, then there are these clashes which you need to understand how it can be detected inside the Revit, and once being detected, you need to know how you can resolve it inside Revit. Okay, so detecting in the Navisworks and then resolving inside Revit. This is the basic workflow each and every one of you need to understand. Let's come on to something more visualizing and appealing, which is really helpful for you to visualize your own project, okay, and also to create a realistic walkthrough or rendered views inside your building. So this is what called as Lumion. So maybe not many people of you might be able to use Lumion because of the software or the hardware configuration which is required, but some of you who have a good hardware configuration, they can start using it. And even if some of you doesn't have a good hardware configuration, many of you have a very high good internet connection, like 5G is there almost everywhere, right? So if you know how to use the internet and work in the cloud based environment, there are so many platforms through which you can render, you can create a walkthrough, okay. But this is what I am showing you, how you can understand this particular software. So what is this? This is just a Lumion. And in Lumion you can bring in your own projects to reality. Let's say this is a simple building over here. You can build this building inside Lumion. You can create a walkthrough of it. You can change the texture. You can change the material inside it. Let's say this particular room over here. And I want to change the materials of this particular wall. Okay. So I'm going to select something, a material over here. Any material which is there in the Lumion, you can select it, or even you can load it from other areas. Let's say there's a plaster, there's an exterior wall, interior wall, there's a stone material. You can see it's quickly showing the graphics over here. Okay. Let's look at the ceiling over here at the top. If you want, you can change the ceiling material as well, the lightning, the glass, the reflectivity. Over here you can see the gypsum wall board. I can click on it. Metal plaster. These are the colors over here, which is pre-embedded over here. Okay. So this gives you a very handy option to effectively make a rendered view, tweak the materials, tweak the settings, tweak the sun directions. Let's say over here there is a weather, right? So what day is it? It's in the morning, it's in the afternoon. What is the direction of the sun? You can see over here, right? If you have a look at this particular building from here, how you gonna look at it? Where the shadow needs to come, how you have to arrange the cloud at the sky. Okay. So everything you can customize. Let's say I use this particular clouds, not too much, this much is enough. I can choose the timing of the day and choose the direction of the sun. Now it's rotating at a particular direction. Okay. And if you arrange one particular spot, then you can just take a photo out of it. You can define which size of the photo you want. You want a poster photo or some other photos. You can take a clip from here. You can even build with some effects over here. There are so many options which you can do. Even you can make a movie out of it. Let's say if I click on record over here, I'll record this particular part. Okay. Then I'll go over here, record another part, go over here, record another part, go inside, record another part. Click on finish. I can see the entire movie over here by just playing over it. Okay. I hope all of you understand that this is what the functionality of different software tools are and how we can use it. There are more software tools. Obviously in this session I cannot explain you each and every software tools which is going to be used in the industry, but some of the tools which is widely used, what type of deliverable you need to extract from it, okay, what industry is expecting from you. This is what I have tried to cover in the session today. Let's go back to build over here, and this is just a simple Revit model. Okay, so you can bring in each and every model from the import section over here, but you need to have a proper plugin in order to bring these kind of model into reality. Okay, that is called as Revit to Lumion Bridge, which is a simple plugin which can help you bring the Revit model into a Lumion environment by converting the file type of .rvt to .dae or Collada file, okay, which is being widely used for making a rendering or walkthrough in Lumion. So I hope you enjoyed the session today. Let's move on to a Q&A session. Okay. Anyone in the session today have any questions? Ashwarya, Asif, Umair, Abin. Yeah, Sudarshan.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, Sudarshan.
Yes. What is the use of Power BI in BIM?
Power BI. Okay, that's a good question. Power BI is basically used for data visualization. Okay, just as you already asked, I will quickly share my screen and show to you.
Actually, what can we do for this Power BI?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Power BI Revit. I'll just type. Okay. Power BI is basically for visualizing the data which is there inside the in your Revit model. let's say you have the data related to, over here you can see data related to the rooms. So you can visualize the data using some graphical diagrams or some graphical shapes inside Power BI. Let's say how much heat is required in each and every room of your building. Okay, you might not be able to visualize the data inside Revit, but using a Power BI and connecting this data with the Power BI, it will give you a graphical representation of the particular floor where you have the different rooms, and you will be able to visualize, okay, particular this room might require a lot of heat or lot of air condition, or this particular room require a less amount of heat or less amount of cooling. Okay, not exactly heat, the cooling temperature which is required using these software tools. So this is one example. There are many ways to visualize the data using Power BI. You can see in the Revit some of the tutorials over here, analyzing Revit data using Microsoft Power BI. There are some plugins as well which you can use, which will connect the data from Revit and give this data from Revit and export it to Power BI. But this data, like in the initial stages, if you are coming into the industry as a BIM modeler, maybe this tool is not effectively used for you. But if you know how to visualize the data, it's a good plus advantage, but not so mandatory. Yeah. Any other questions?
And
one more doubt.
Yeah.
For
doing the automation, like extracting the data from Revit without opening the file
and
creating the PDFs and CAD files.
Yeah.
So what are the softwares required to learn for automation of tools?
First of all, you need to focus on only one software tool. If you want to learn about the automation, that is Dynamo. Okay, there may be a lot of plugins and a lot of add-ins which is there available in the industry. You can find it on Autodesk App Store. Okay, you can use it, but some of them are free versions, some of them are paid versions. But I would suggest better go with the tool which is freely available. It will not only help you to extract the data, but it will also give you an understanding that how you can use this software tool for so many other features. Okay, not just extracting the data from one software and bringing it into another software. Let's say you have a data in your Excel sheet, and you have to bring in this Excel data into Revit. You can easily do using some Dynamo scripts, using a Dynamo as a software tool, but you can do the same thing using some plugins or add-ins. Okay, these are two different things, whether you use a plugin or an add-in or a Dynamo script. Okay, but I would suggest you better go with the Dynamo. Focus on learning the Dynamo, the scripts which are there to help you extract the data and import and export it, vice versa. Yeah, Priya, you can ask.
So what is the basic thing means from where we can learn the basics of Dynamo from basic to advanced? Means is there any link, or is there anything from where we can actually create a basic Dynamo, and from that we can learn from basic to advanced?
Absolutely. Basic Dynamo is from, you can start from learning a Dynamo Premier, okay, which is like a dictionary for the Dynamo, which includes all the details about how to effectively use a Dynamo, because Dynamo is not a version which is very common this year or previous year. Dynamo has gone through a lot of changes inside it. A lot of versions have been changed. So maybe if you take out a video from some of the platform and try to learn a Dynamo, maybe 2016, 2017 old video, that is very different. Okay, and right now it's 2024. The versions of Dynamo have been upgraded. A lot of things have changed inside this particular tool. So always focus your learning. If you want to learn Dynamo in a detailed and a much structured way, use Dynamo Premier. Okay, I'll just share you my screen and I'll show to you from where it is. Dynamo Premier over here. This is the first place where you can learn about Dynamo, but this is like a book for you. But it's not just a book. Some of the topics also have a lot of resources, some videos to help you understand about this particular Dynamo tool. Okay, some of the maths, logic, data, and a lot of other details. As you mentioned, you want to learn Dynamo from basic to advanced. After understanding how to use a Dynamo Premier, then you can focus on this tool called as DI Roots. So DI Roots is a particular software development company which not only provides software solutions, they also create plugins for Revit and other software tools. They also have a e-learning platform where they have a Dynamo course. Okay, there is a basic course and an advancing course. Both of these courses are totally free of cost. You can directly click on Get Started and start learning this Dynamo course. What is available in this particular course you can see over here. Okay, and even when you complete this entire course, if you request them, they will also give you some certificate regarding this Dynamo Basic and Advanced. So why not utilize something which is totally and freely available in the industry, and already many of the people are utilizing the benefits from this particular company. They also have some plugins which you can later see that how these plugins they have developed, and which can help you efficiently manage your data, manage your project on time. So from basics to advanced, you can go through with DI Roots. That is the most popular currently in the industry and free to use. Yeah. Any other questions?